Okay, skateboard nerds. So this video is going to be all about how to push your skateboard. And this is uh, a skill that a lot of people overlook, and you think it's easy, but it's really not. There's a lot going on in there, especially learning how to balance on the front foot while rolling, and how to build speed and keep your balance as you swing your leg and build speed and build power. And then there's all these other intricacies of how to position your foot and how to correct for balance and pressure, and how to steer the board while you push. This is a huge one most people overlook, and you don't learn it until you get really good at pushing. It takes time. Most people have a wobbly step when they first start, and this video is going to help dial you in and help you understand everything that you need to know about how to push that board with more confidence, feel more comfortable when you get going, and just give you those skills that you really need to feel confident on your board. And for those of you who are interested, hey, be sure to check out our website, USSEA.us, for more information about how to learn. And for those of you interested, you can become a certified skateboard instructor, coach, through our digital program. It's pretty awesome. Be sure to check it out. If you have questions, hit me in the comments below. I'll make sure I post up a link to the website in the comments as well. And I look forward to helping you guys on your skateboard journey further. With that, let's break this thing down. So the first thing we got to do is just break down the mechanics of pushing on the skateboard. All right, so we'll give this one a quick look. This is just me pushing. I'm not the strongest pusher, but I get around pretty good, and I figured out how to balance on my front foot and manage those things. And when you watch this video, there's some key things you want to look for. There's a natural flow to the body, and I'm kind of lanky and gangly, but I get most of it right. So you can see the way the arms work first. It's really important that as your free foot swings forward, that same arm swings back and the opposing arm swings forward. So if we just take a look really quick, you'll be able to see. So this arm is back, this foot is forward, and this arm is forward. When I push, it's gonna change position, right? So my free foot's gonna swing back, my same side arm is going to swing forward, and my balance arm is going to swing back. So if you just give that a quick look here, let me clear these drawings. Let's get right into this, maybe in slow-mo. There's the push, and then you can see the swing and the change, right? That's the first critical thing, is just to learn how to coordinate the swing of the arms and the legs. And this is only when you've developed confidence and power. In the beginning, don't worry about swinging your arms, and don't worry about a big leg swing. Take small baby steps, take micro steps, and I'll videos throughout this breakdown to help you guys understand that. But this is really simple, right? So there's that push with the pushing leg. That same side arm starts to reach forward as the pushing leg goes back, and you can see the opposing arm is going back for balance. That's the natural. It's kind of like running or walking. It's very natural to have these opposing movements, right? There's some other really critical things happening. So we've got the arm motion thing going on. We're starting to coordinate that. We also got to know where to touch first. So we start with the toes lightly, and then we're progressively going to start to push harder and harder on that foot. So notice those toes touch down right next to or just behind the front wheels. That's where they're going to touch pretty much with every push. And then you're going to notice that there's more pressure building on that foot. But I don't start extending hard until, look at how far behind my free foot, my pushing foot, is from the front wheels. This is really important. So you don't push hard until you know that you're balanced on your front foot. So your mass is on top of the skateboard. It's on top of the front foot. The pushing foot is way behind your front foot. That's when you can start to drive and create power. There's that extension way back there. You get the full extension off the toe. So you can watch it again. There's the swing forward. Toe touches right there by the wheels. Now I'm starting to get low so I can drive off that back foot and I don't start extending. There's the extension of that back leg right there. So notice how far behind my back foot is. Notice how far behind my back foot is from my front foot when I start to extend. That's critical to the push. We've got to. Okay, the next thing to really consider is the swing path of the foot. Notice how close my foot is to my skateboard. I want it to be really close, not touching. I don't ever want to catch my foot on the wheel, but I definitely want to be close enough to where I'm not stepping out to the side and creating wobble, right, back and forth laterally. So my foot is just going to be controlled just a couple inches, 3 inches away from the board, directly under my left hip there. There's that catch. And you can see that swing path, and I'm pushing right next to the board. And notice that as I push, my weight does not shift left or right laterally. This way or this way as I push this skateboard. So you can see my core just stays in the same spot. I'm balanced over that front foot through all of these steps. No shift of weight from right foot to left foot as I push. Balance, and most of my weight, my mass stays over that front foot. I'm careful to do that so that I can create power in the push and maintain stability. So we'll watch this next step. There's that full swing. Notice that after I push and I'm swinging this foot forward, notice that my body rises. So right here, I'm tall. And then as I go to push, note that my balance leg, meaning the posted leg, the leg that's on the skateboard, is bending. It's going to start to get really short so that my core drops down towards the ground. So this knee right here is going to bend, and my core is going to drop down this way, right? So as I go, let's get back here, you're going to see there's that knee bending and my core dropped down for sure. And you can see how low I am. Another really important thing to note, the posture. I have to get a forward posture going with my upper body that's similar to the angle of my lower leg that's on the skateboard. So let me clear those original drawings. And let's take a look really quick. So you can see that the angle of my spine is kind of something like this. It's kind of on that line. The angle of my leg is on a similar line there. So these angles match, or they're close to. Now, for this lower leg to tip forward, my ankle has to bend. So simply put, if you look right here at that ankle, it's bending significantly. And it's the more flexed it stays, honestly, the better. So there's that ankle flex, right? And what this does is that allows my core, my mass, to stay more over the skateboard. So we've talked a lot about this, but this part of my body right here, so let's put a little highlight on it. This part of my body right here, if my ankle stays bent, then that part of my body stays a little bit more forward. If my ankle starts to extend and it opens up, then my core is going to shift back and I'm going to lose balance. If my spine, my upper body here, starts to raise up, I'm going to lose balance backwards. So all the weight and pressure is going to shift to the heel on the skateboard as I push, and that's a challenge. I want to feel pressure across the entire foot when I push. So I'm bending my ankle and constantly adjusting that ankle to try to keep my center of mass over the whole foot, so I feel a strong connection. I'm not up on the ball of my foot when I skate, when I push. I'm not back on the heel with my toes lifting. I've got a solid connection across the entire sole of my shoe, and I'm feeling pressure throughout the whole foot. Now it adjusts a little bit, but the goal is to bend the ankle, the knee, and the hip of that lead leg to maintain balance over the whole foot while you push. So if we get and clear out some of these drawings, we'll take a look again at that push. There's that push, and you're going to see I'm going to start to rise up. Now here's where that swing comes in. That knee is going to swing forward. Hands are going to swing back there. The foot starts to swing forward. And notice how many frames I'm balancing on my front foot. This is maybe the most important thing that you learn when you're learning how to push, is just simply how to balance on the front foot. You have to be able to roll on a skateboard on one foot for a significant period of time to ever build confidence pushing your skateboard at speed. And this is a really important skill. I mean, a lot of skaters take pride in it, and you notice it when you're out skating. If I ever take an awkward push, I feel it, because I'm wondering if everybody saw how unbalanced I looked. And it's one of those things where you'll always know when it happens, and you'll be looking around to see if somebody else noticed. But the better you get at balancing on your front foot, the more comfortable you're going to be pushing, more confidence you'll have at pushing, and the faster you'll be able to push yourself forward. So if you want to build speed, it doesn't matter how fast you want to go, you still have to have balance on that front foot. Okay, so I think the next thing probably to note is the position of my foot. So when you look at this, at where I'm at on the skateboard, you can see that most of my foot is behind the trucks, or behind the front wheels. So here's the front wheels right there. You can see that my toe is right on top of the bolts, and the rest of my foot is behind those front wheels. Now you can position your foot further back on the board, more in the center of the board, if that makes you more comfortable. If you're skating on a long board, you have a lot more range to play with in terms of finding that position. You can start with your foot in the middle. You got a ton of space to work with. But realistically, if you get your foot behind those front wheels, and you can see that my heel right here is in the center of the board pretty much. That's where I like to have it. And I think that's a pretty critical location. The next thing you're going to want to learn is what the center line of the board is. So the center line of the board, I mean, just think of drawing a line right down the middle of the skateboard. Go ahead. So if you're looking at your skateboard and you draw a line straight down the center, right through the bolts, all the way down, that's that tipping point. And what I like to do is I like to have a little bit of my foot. I like to have my toes slightly across on one side and my heel on the other. That way, when I tip my lead leg kind of works like a joystick. And when I tip my lead leg, I'll be able to tip the board as well, and I'll be able to control where I'm going with each step. Now you can line it up dead straight if that feels better to you. Just find the middle, and note that if your foot's a little bit off to one side or the other, you're probably going to have a tendency to drift that way as you push, because your weight will naturally just shift to that one side. So foot position is really important. Again, I like to have my toes right here covering the bolts, right up to the edge of the bolts. That gets me right behind the trucks, and I don't have too much mass or too much weight and pressure out ahead of the wheels up here. That way, I'm not going to get a wheel stopper like from over pressure. You got to have mass back here. Now you can move your foot further back if you like, whatever works for you. But still, a slight angle to the foot, whichever way. I kind of angle my toes in. So, but you can angle your toes out. There's all kinds of, I'm going to show you later in the video where you'll see that foot position can be adjusted, and you can, modify and be flexible so that you can control the board. And that's really what it's all about. Because if, for example, if your foot's over here on this side and you want to tip the board, this way towards this edge, it's going to be really hard, right? Your foot's over here, it'll tip that way easy. If your foot's over there, it'll tip that way easy. Your foot's in the middle, you get the best chance of going either way. Foot slightly across the board, you have a little more leverage to either direction if you want it. So keep that in mind, and know that you just got to play around with foot positions until it feels right and you can control the board. Okay, so back in the video, in slow-mo, you can see the long stride, and you can notice that when I come up, my spine tips back and I'm more upright. But when I dig in to push, my spine tips forward and I get low. I bend that front leg. I rise up, I tip back, I get low, I tip forward, and I'm driving everything forward. And I'm getting a little bit of that sort of like I'm tipping forward and flying a little bit kind of feel. And that's really important. In the beginning, it's going to feel very awkward and you're going to just be trying to maintain balance, and that's okay. Take your time. My mission when I'm pushing is to keep all of my balance squarely on the foot that is on the skateboard. So I've got to try to counterbalance and stabilize my body on top of that foot while I swing and push that board freely with the kick foot, with the pushing leg. Maybe one more quick watch all the way through so you just get a feel for that, and we'll see how we build up to it.
So I hope this video really helped you understand how pushing works, at least at that full kind of push level, and just understanding all the intricacies of balance and how to manage all the different movements you have to make in order to gain that skill. Now, the next video, part 2 in this series, will be all about different drills and skill builders that you can do to help make it easier to learn how to push. And don't forget that in our Learn to Skate series, we have an entire video dedicated to stopping, pushing, and recovering your balance. So check those out. Stay tuned for that next video come out here in just a few days. And if you enjoy these, don't forget to like and subscribe, of course. We appreciate your support, and let us know how we can continue to help you. Our goal is to help you learn how to skateboard and understand more about skateboarding. If this video helped you, be sure to hit us up in the comments below and tell us what you'd like us to focus on for our next video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and then subscribe to our channel and tell your friends all about us. If you'd like to learn more about the United States Skateboard Education Association, please visit www.ussea.us, where you can learn more about how to skate, learn more about helping others learn how to skate, and become a certified skateboard coach.